Hi, I'm Stacy with stacystjohn.com,
And I'm Valerie from quilldecor.com.
and we're here to help you better your B&B.
That's right. We have a weekly show here where we review one property's interiors and listing in 15 minutes or less. Stacy, who are we reviewing today?
First, let me start my timer.
Start the timer.
Start the timer.
Oh,
And today we are looking at Courtney's property in Gilbert, Arizona.
that's right. Okay, so what we have here is a house with a beautiful pool. And the first thing we want to talk about is the title because it says pool house slash arcade in the title, which indicates to Stacy and I, and probably other people, that it's a pool house. A pool house is an ancillary house off the back of a main house, right? So when you have pool house as the header of your title, it indicates to my mind that this is only the portion of a house, or you're just renting this secondary house, right, Stacy?
That's what I take from that as well, which we both know is not the case
Yes,
in this
upon
particular
further
listing.
review, it's obvious that, what you're renting out here is the entire house, but I think the title, addressing the title is going to be really crucial to
Totally.
making sure your audience understands what you're selling.
Totally. And let's also talk about the first 5 photos here as well, Val. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, she's got a photo of the pool here. I love the fact that she's put a photo of the arcade games in here. I
Mhm.
I always share with people, I would love to see kind of a potpourri of different aspects of the listing. I think that the photo in the upper right-hand corner with the lounge chairs is a bit repetitive because
Yeah.
we can see that in the initial photo. So I would definitely recommend swapping that one out, maybe for a bedroom photo or
Mhm.
another outdoor photo. Any other thoughts from your perspective?
Yeah, I agree. I think that these photos are really good at representing the property, but I would also like to see that one on the top right just exchanged out for something that's a bit different. And the other thought we had about this pool is that it's beautiful. And I would make sure to redo these photographs when you get a chance without the pool cleaner in there, which you can actually see more prevalent in some of the other photos of the pool, but it looks like it's in every picture. So I would take a picture of that without the cleaner running around the bottom. Yeah.
That's right. We like to see that the pool is clean, but we definitely don't want to
You
see
can
the
just
equipment.
photograph the vacuum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Overall, the flow of these photos, I mean, obviously your top 5 photos are going to be first as you go through, but then think a lot about how the photos flow from there outside of those 5. And
Yeah.
with this house, we seem to go, we're outside and then we go inside and then we're outside again, which gives us further confusion. When we first looked at this property, we did not know what we were getting. Is this just a
Yeah.
part of a property or is it the whole thing? It's obvious that it is the whole thing after we kind of dug through the pictures a bit more, but
And,
just to make sure it's clear. Yeah.
yeah. And I think the important thing to note here is if people are confused, they will move on. They
Mhm.
probably won't take the time to dig in like you and I did, Val. They're going to
Mhm.
go, hey, I'm confused, and I'm going to keep looking. So I would definitely recommend with your order of photography, taking folks on a visual tour of the interior and the exterior of the property, room by room. This kitchen, by the way, is freaking amazing.
It's
It's
super cute.
beautiful.
It's a great kitchen. It is really beautiful.
I
So
love it.
really well done there. And one thing I think you would really benefit from with this property is having a floor plan. So because you do have a really big place, you're probably trying to attract those multi-generational bookings. Then if people have a floor plan, they immediately understand graphically where they can place people and how this is going to work for their particular booking, for their family, for where they can put, the kids and the grandma and whatever. So it's a very valuable tool to put into your listing.
Perfect.
Okay, do you want to talk a little bit more about the decor?
Yeah, I was going to say, I know this is your wheelhouse, Val. I think from my perspective, it's beautiful. I mean, I love what she's done with the property, and I think it is
Mhm.
tasteful. I think that there might be opportunities to add maybe some extra textures in there. Uh,
Yes, I love that. You're
Should look
absolutely right.
into
It is beautiful. Her key pieces of furniture are gorgeous. Her ceiling fans are pretty and updated. Everything is really nice. I particularly like this room. But I would maybe add some texture and even by way of just adding a big organic something back here. So maybe this room could do with a big faux plant, a nice one. We talked about the difference between in a recent post about when you invest in a faux plant, it does look really nice. And when you buy a cheap fake plant, it tends to look really cheap and doesn't photograph well and doesn't do a lot for the room. So maybe a plant in this corner would be really great, or a lamp. That
Now, I
lovely.
just have to mention, I get really excited when Val says, "I agree with you, Stacy," because Val is a trained interior designer and Stacy is not. So I'm excited you like the texture idea.
Yeah, it was a very good idea. I think this, like, you're absolutely right. This room she's got great furniture. And I really love, can I point out how great the height of this art is? Usually in a big room, people want to take the art up to the ceiling to make the room feel big. And despite the fact that's what you should do with all of your window treatments, your curtains, right? Go those to the ceiling. Your art should make the room continue to feel grounded. So you don't want the art to float way up to the ceiling. She's done a really great job of putting it just right above the seating area here, which I love.
Awesome. Awesome.
I also love those swivel chairs and how, Stacey, do you think there's an opportunity for her to put captions in her more of her pictures?
Absolutely. I think, with every photo, it should describe what it is that I'm looking at.
Yeah, my kids
Um,
would love this, by the way.
yeah,
Love
yeah,
this
yeah,
life-size Connect 4 game. It's brilliant.
yeah. But just back to your point, Val, captions on photos are definitely a must.
Mhm.
And, a lot of folks also with their captions, just use very truncated things. Feel free to use as much description as possible, but I always love to see it on a single line. It's not always possible,
Mhm.
depending on what it is that the photo is showing. But
But
I
like
think,
this, for example, this looks like, I don't know if this is in a bedroom or what, but it's a fantastic desk area for
mhm,
someone to plop down and do some work when they need to, which is
yeah.
needed in every rental now. So that is a beautiful, but so, put the sentence there. What would the sentence be? Give us a caption for this one.
Um, work or put your makeup on in style. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. But just something to indicate, what are we doing here? This is a really valuable little piece of your property,
See,
and make
I
sure to
wonder if
market that
it's
with
a
words.
vanity. That's why I said work or put your makeup on,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
something like that can double for both,
That
right?
absolutely. Exactly. Exactly, it can. So I did want to point out one thing about, if I were to change something about the decor of this place, I would do some more interesting art in the dining room. It's a huge central great open room, and you've got big giant blank walls, which are really, really tough, to be honest. I think you've done a nice job of pairing two things that go well together, but they aren't exciting to me. And if it were my place, that's the first thing I would spend money on, is I would get something way bigger for this wall and really, really interesting and impactful. Maybe it's I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something that has to do with the area, or just something that evokes some kind of emotion, because although this is fine, it's not really memorable and it's not that
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, I agree with that.
Um, okay. How are we doing on time?
We have 6 minutes and 21 seconds left.
So I think yeah, another thing that could just warm up the house. I don't know how you feel about rugs. You've got some in the living rooms. I would put some rugs under these beds because this tile floor is a little bit cold looking. I mean, it's a wood grain tile, and I would put some nice rugs, even just something simple like a big sisal underneath each bed in the bedroom. You don't have to get complicated with the color or pattern, but I think that would warm it up a bit in these spaces. But it's really
And
well done. I can tell you've spent some time
yeah,
making sure this is
totally.
appealing, and we love the game room. That is incredible. Maybe show
Again,
some extra board games over here. I'm not sure. Or like the snacks, because this is where the kids are hanging out. Like, can you put the little snack bar? And again, my
and
kids have
again,
done it.
I think she does have a caption on that one, it looks like. Yeah, she's got some captions here.
Mhm.
But I would love to understand again the lay of the land. This to me
Yeah,
looks like it's the true pool house,
it
right?
is, I think. Yeah.
Yep,
And
yep,
this is the loft in the pool house. So you can throw
yep.
your teenagers up there. Great. King size mattress. So you could sleep in till, noon. So this is what we were just looking at where the arcade is, this little pool house. The
Mhm.
other thing I think that confused me is that there is no picture of the front door or the front of the house in this listing. Am I wrong about that?
There's a picture, it looks like from the inside of the front door,
Okay.
but not of the front of the
Not
house
of the exterior, which kind
specifically.
of is weird. And it kind of indicates that like you don't own the whole house and you're just listing part of it. I don't know. I think you should have a picture of the front of the house, even if it's something, that doesn't have great curb appeal, just so that people understand what they're looking for when they're walking
Yeah,
up to your place.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Val, let's talk about the fire pit real quick.
Okay.
We've got 4 minutes left.
Okay.
Um, and I
I
know
thought
that
about
was
the
an
intro.
area that you and I both thought had some opportunities.
Opportunity for a bit more. All right, listen, a fire pit is a huge, very, very attractive amenity for your property, for anybody's property. And this one is built in, which is an asset. It's huge. It's really great. So here's the way that I would, because there's nothing appealing about this picture or this fire pit, the way that this is photographed.
And we
And
say that with all the love in the world.
I say it with all the love in the world and the understanding that this is a huge house you had to furnish. And it probably got to this point and we're like, oy vey. I mean, we have done it. Look at you have invested in really nice furniture inside. So I get that there comes a point in time where you're like, we've got to just get some stuff out there and move on. However, I think at some point in time, maybe it's down the road a little bit where you feel like you can invest more, but I would get some nicer, more comfortable actual Adirondack chairs out here, maybe some color of some kind. If you can invest in some type of landscaping, some really easy drought tolerant plants.
Mhm.
This just feels very desolate with the concrete all around. So figure
Yeah,
out a way to get some warmth and some organic life back there with some plants, and then just nicer chairs would be a
yeah.
really great investment.
The other thing too that could really liven up this space, if you're so inclined, Courtney, is have a mural done. Have a mural painted on that stone wall. Again,
Yeah,
that's definitely a permanent type of choice, but can really, really add to the personality of the property, can be a fabulous asset on social media. So
definitely. And that's a great suggestion. And if you could, I mean, because you've got the ability to add some wooden poles here, because it looks like these are beds, you could put some poles in and do some bistro lights back in this corner, which is going to
mhm,
photograph really well. If you did some kind of trellis over top of it as well, then we're instantly kind of in a cozy nook. And then you can
mhm.
trail some vines up the trellis. It just becomes a bit warmer. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love the mural suggestion.
Awesome. Can we pop over? We've got about a minute and a half left. Can we pop over and check out her listing? So again, just as a quick shout out, definitely look at optimizing that headline so that it really, really is clear what it is that we are getting with the property. I love the fact that you're calling out, the heated pool and hot
Mhm.
tub. Those are definitely amenities. I An arcade is an amenity that I think is really attractive. So it's not that you haven't done a great job putting your amenities in there, but I would just optimize the way that that headline reads. Can we pop into the listing copy really quickly?
Mhm.
Okay, it's taking just a hot minute for it to actually come up. There we go, on the screen. So the one thing I will call out in the listing copy itself is I would definitely recommend just having a second glance from a proofreading perspective. So in the first line, I don't know if you can really see it, but there is a typo in the first line where there's a space missing right after the word pool.
Yeah.
And again, it's all, in my perspective, we are selling a property here. We're selling a product, and our product is something that, someone is going to rent from us. But as a potential guest seeing a typo, the first thing in the copy, it tells me that this host does not pay attention to details. And if I believe that that host does not pay attention to details, I'm not going to stay there. Oh my gosh, there's our timer.
Shocks you every time.
So definitely proofread your copy, make sure that there are no typos, and that will help, I think, allay any fears from potential guests.
Yeah.
All
Awesome.
righty.
Okay.
Courtney, thank you.
Courtney, thank you so much for submitting this listing. We hope that this was helpful.
And if you would like to have your listing reviewed on the show, go to betteryourbnb.com and fill out a super simple form.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe so that you get notification every time we release a new show. Thanks for joining us today. I am Valerie Malone.
And I'm Stacy St. John. Happy hosting, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.